Now at this time, we have a couple of words from the superintendent. Dr. Carroll.
Thank you. For this evening, we have a very curt, short agenda set. And with the agenda, you're going to see that there are recommendations from the school district superintendent. I want to state at this time that I stand by those recommendations. There's a recommendation for a program of studies. I received information about that program of studies from the February 3rd Curriculum Council, and given that information from that Curriculum Council meeting, I've made a recommendation for the workshop, made a recommendation for the legislative session that we had earlier this month. For that, there was considerable discussion about that program of studies. Information was tabled. We'll bring it forth this evening. There was since then another Curriculum Council meeting on March the 18th that I attended. It was very well attended, and it has been a protocol, a circumstance with Curriculum Council meetings when various topics are discussed, that we reach a consensus, and then a recommendation then comes before the school board, and a recommendation again comes to the school board, and it flows through the superintendent. On the evening of the 18th again, there was again prolific amount of discussion, and there was something that was very atypical that took place that I have not seen in place at Curriculum Council. There was an actual vote taken for all the items that were to be either kept or deleted from the program of studies. Reviewed information, came to a vote. Such items should stay, such items should go. Okay? I've gathered that information and taken into consideration what I endorsed, what I recommended prior to the second session. It is very difficult for me to deviate from those initial kinds of recommendations at the workshop and the legislative session. And the courses that were voted upon, the courses that were looked upon to stay or to be out, and there were a considerable amount of courses taken during that. Let me go ahead and qualify this by saying unofficial vote. Again, because from the Curriculum Council, it is just a recommendation that comes from that through the superintendent to the school board. Just as any other organization of the school board, whether it's the athletic policy committee, that recommendation can come through the athletic director, through the superintendent, to the school board for the board to vote upon. Again, all it is a recommendation. It becomes confirmed by the school board. That's the order of matters. I can go through and tell you that there were multitude of items present. 5 of those items were asked to stay. The items that were asked to stay were speech class, writing for publications class, an animation class, politics and government class, and there was a nebulous factor whether or not what was not voted upon at all was a cartooning class. I can tell you that there was considerable, again, discussion with that, but being asked for a full recommendation for these classes through the superintendent, that cannot take place. a full recommendation from the superintendent for these classes to remain cannot take place, and we will vote upon the program of studies unless this board, through this decision-making or discussion this evening, changes it. But as it stands right now, the recommendations that were made initially from the superintendent stand.
Question?